Today I decided to create two videos, both about parents and the role that parents play in our lives. In this video, I'm going to concentrate upon the mother, and in the next video, I shall talk about the father. Before we go any further, we have to keep one fact very strongly in our minds. And the fact is that the relationship between mother and me, father and me, is a soul contract. Our souls contract with the souls of our parents. The primary contract is always the soul of the mother. That is the primary contract, and that is the most important contract. The secondary contract is the soul contract with our father. Both these energies have a very vital role in our life. Now, why am I using the word energies rather than persons? Because mother and father are truly energies. They are embodied by a human being. So whether that energy is embodied by your biological mother or by the non-biological mother, which means the mother by adoption or stepmother or someone who comes into the role of mother even though she may not be your biological mother. Such persons embody the energy of the mother. Even though there is a soul contract between ourselves and our biological mother, it is not always true that our biological mother is present throughout our growing years. Sometimes the biological mother is physically or then emotionally not available for whatever the circumstances might be. In many of these situations, there is another woman who steps into the role of the mother. There would then be a soul contract also with that woman and yourself. So these vital relationships in our lives are always determined and influenced by soul contracts. The mother energy has a very specific purpose. We all know that the mother energy is the energy of nurturance, the energy of creation, the energy of emotional anchorage, the energy of emotional and spiritual protection. This energy has to be 100% imbibed in every human being. Why is this important? Because we as human beings, each one of us, is meant to be in the highest plane of existence as human beings, the perfect amalgam of the mother energy and the father energy. And so the mother energy has to be 100% assimilated, just as the father energy has to be 100% assimilated. As we take birth through incarnations, we learn more about this energy. This energy is way more complex and way deeper than we mistake it to be. Very often we confuse conditional love with maternal love, with the love of the mother energy. Very often we confuse nurturance with a control that is often wielded by the mother to the child. The mother energy has no conditions upon its love. The mother energy has no demands that it makes. The mother energy has no qualifying factors. The mother energy is free of all judgment. The mother energy is just an all-embracing energy. Now you can understand that in our human existence, such an energy is a challenge to learn and assimilate 100%. So we take incarnation after incarnation in order to learn about this energy and in order to assimilate it more and more into our very being. This is the soul contract. This, and of course, the soul contract with the Father. But this one, remember, is the primary soul contract that we draw for the purpose of our learning alone. That soul that enters into the soul contract with us as mother, whether biological or non-biological, or sometimes both, gets into that contract in order to facilitate that learning. Of course, just as it is common with all other soul contracts, the soul that enters into the contract with us shall also benefit in some way by that contract, by their own learning. But the primary reason for the soul contract between a mother energy and a child energy is the learning for the child. The child, who then grows up to be an adult, of course, has to learn. Whether the child is male or female makes no difference. The child has to learn about the value of nurturance, the value of emotional anchorage, the value of unconditional love, the value of sacrifice that comes from that love, the value of an all-inclusive embrace without the love making you blind. This is a very valuable lesson for us all to learn. And in each lifetime, I should hope that we all learn a little bit more, that our assimilation of this lesson is a little deeper. Not all of us have positive soul contracts. We may call them positive and negative. For example, someone who has a mother who is emotionally harsh or emotionally abusive would naturally consider that soul contract to be a negative one. And some who have a mother who is kind and nurturing and gentle and supportive and gives the right kind of nurturance that the child needs to grow into a well-adapted, well-adjusted human being, would consider that that soul contract is a positive one. These terms, positive and negative, are only human terms. In the spiritual context of things, there is no negative contract. The mother energy does what the mother energy has been asked to do by you in your soul contract. For example, if you are a landlord and you have a contract with your tenant, as the landlord, you will state your terms to the tenant, right? You can have a pet or you can't have a pet. Your rent must be paid by this time every month. You can or you can't have someone living with you. Whatever. You set the terms of that contract. And that tenant has to follow the terms of that contract. Similarly, the soul of the child creates those contracts and those contractual terms. The mother energy, which is the facilitator for these lessons to be learned, for these lessons to be learned even deeper than they have been, shall follow the contractual terms that you and I have set out in our soul contract. When the contractual terms seem harsh, seem cruel, seem unloving, when those contractual terms have within them the physical absence of the mother also woven in, when these so-called tragic circumstances and situations are part of the contractual terms, they play as valid a role as the so-called positive soul contract. Whether the terms are so-called negative or they are so-called positive, please remember the goal is the same, that the child's learning of love and nurturance and sharing and giving and receiving and creating deepens, expands, and in each lifetime moves a little bit towards that final ultimate mark of 100% mother energy. That is the only purpose. So if you are one of those where the mother energy has not been kind and nurturing and emotionally stabilizing for you, I urge you to take the help of a spiritual mentor as well as a traditional therapist. Both should work hand in hand with you. One, to help you to get the spiritual understanding of why you as a soul would enter into such a contract. What did you as a soul hope to attain by entering into this kind of a contract and demanding these terms from the soul contract that you entered into with the mother energy? And your traditional therapist will help you to overcome the grief and the pain that, of course, naturally would come with such a soul contract being present. Go through that healing process with both the spiritual mentor and the therapist, and though it might take time and though it might take a lot of effort on your part to understand this as a truth, to understand this as a fact, please make that effort. Give yourself the time that it takes, however long it might be, to understand this reality. Because then you will free yourself from the burden of pain, but you will free the mother energy from the burden of your non-forgiveness. Because that soul has followed a contract. And yes, I must bring in here that every person who enters into a soul contract, when they come on earth, they are surrounded and influenced by the free will choice that is given as a right to every human being. Yes, there are times when a human being goes a little awry of the soul contract. So, for example, if the soul contract of the mother energy is to provide to you a harsh front for the purpose of your learning, chosen by you, we don't know why and how, then the mother energy in human form may go awry and not only be harsh to the level of the soul contract terms, but might be harsher because the human element of free will has taken over. That is of course true, and that of course needs to be kept in mind. But that is the journey of that person. It is not our journey, and it is not our right to comment upon the journey of another person. The basic truth here is that you contracted for a harsh mother. The fact that she did go awry is not yours to comment upon. Yours is to understand, why did you choose the harsh mother? Why did you choose? What lesson did you wish to learn from the harshness of the mother energy? That is your responsibility. And I hope that as you look within and get your answers, and I promise you, you shall get the answers when you work with a really good spiritual mentor and you work with a really good therapist, you shall get your answers, you shall get your healing. And when you do get your answers and healing, I pray that you shall understand the lesson that you wanted to learn, and then you shall make the effort to assimilate that lesson into your daily life, because that is what you really desire as a soul. I'll see you in the next video where we talk about our soul contracts with our fathers.